Man, interesting video. Joe Rogan says that he's sticking with Jesus over science, man. And Joe Rogan is a intelligent being. He's a huge podcaster, probably the biggest podcaster in the world right now. Started in about 2009. And ever since that, he became bigger and bigger because he had the knowledge from podcasting way back then before podcasting became super big and everybody wanted to do podcasting. But let's just watch this clip on him in his journey, basically, or just whatever he feels is why Jesus is more important. It makes more sense. So let's just get back into that video.
I'm sticking with Jesus on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus makes more sense. The difference between science and religion is that science only asks you for one miracle. I want you to believe in one miracle, the Big Bang.
Yeah.
It's because it really is true. And
Yes.
it's funny because people would be incredulous about the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but yet they're convinced that the entire universe was smaller than the head of a pin, and for
Right.
no reason that anybody's adequately explained to me makes sense.
Yeah. No.
Instantaneously became
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't buy that.
I'm sticking with Jesus
Yeah.
on that one. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus makes more sense.
But yeah, as you can see, man, I just feel like it's a surprising claim from him being one of the biggest, podcasters in the world, and the world that's obsessed with science so much to the point of not believing that there has to be a God, but that evolution just made everything, the Big Bang just made everything. But I feel like, it takes more faith to be an atheist than a Christian, because you can't just look at life and say that, this universe just seems to have came about from nothing. You know what I'm saying? Life, like no life made life. And it's kind of like, from a standpoint, it just really doesn't really make too much sense to me. But I believe that Joe is kind of like, one of those people that are getting closer to God in a sense, man. And as we can see from him having that approach about Jesus makes more sense than science, we can see that he's willing to make himself humble, as intelligent as he is, to make himself humble and put his pride to the side and realize that with God it makes more sense in this world. But if you have it from like an atheist lens, it doesn't make sense to you. And that's kind of what I seen from this video. That's kind of what I got from that video, because that switch happened to him. You can see like the switch happens, and once that switch happens, you can feel it. You can feel something in your spirit, you can feel something in your body that I'm on the right path, or what I'm saying, that I feel like this is the right thing that I'm doing from what I used to believe a decade ago, from atheist to a Christian standpoint now. And I feel like that is just kind of where he's taking it. And we just pray for him, man. Pray for people like that. Pray for people all around the world who are just having this view that, science is everything. I have a friend that believes that science created all of us, and I can plant little seeds and do little teaches with them and little like talks about it. But at the end of the day, it's God who's gonna have that increase on you, man. You can just be that friend, that family member that is the one who's going to spread that seed to someone and plant that seed, and then eventually you're gonna hope and pray that it can grow. But God's word won't come back void, man. So I just want you guys to see Joe Rogan really just, choosing God over science, really, in a sense. Because, a lot of people wouldn't have that idea, or they wouldn't believe that he's taking it serious just because he said that. But from my point of view, we just look at it, pray for it, pray that he's getting closer to God for real, and that it's just, seriously engrafted, and that Christ is seriously engrafting into his spirit, man, so he can be the one on his big podcast, the one talking about God now, instead of every other evolution and every other, philosophy. But let's just pray for that man. God bless.